All right, welcome back to the channel. So Terence Crawford has lost his mind on Errol Spence Jr. Says, I don't need him. He needs me. He's not important. Bud, do you not see this pay-per-view fight taking place in Dallas with Danny Garcia? Man, let's talk about Terence Crawford's delusion in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. So, this was said a little bit earlier this week, but Boxing Scene put up an article about it. I wanted to do a video earlier about it, but I was like, no, it's overkill. But having this released the morning of Errol Spence Jr. versus Danny Garcia, and to hear Terence Crawford say, I don't need him, he needs me for his legacy, is so ludicrous that it needs comment today, okay? Bud Crawford is out of his mind. Number one, Terence Crawford needs Errol Spence Jr. for his legacy badly. Number two, Errol Spence Jr. don't need Terence Crawford. That's what the scenario is. It's not the other way around. And we can talk about that in a little bit of detail in this video. First things first, though, I want to see Terence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. fight. I believe Terence Crawford is the second best welterweight, could be the first best welterweight in the world. I want to see the fight. However, Terence Crawford, without that fight, resume, when he is done with his career, is going to look like boo-boo going forward. It's going to look just like Derek James said it looks, which is a prospect type of resume, where there are all these guys who were welterweights at the same time you were in the same division, and you end your career not having fought any of them, and you think somehow that these guys over there at ESPN and Ring Magazine, these guys that actually get Hall of Fame votes, you think that they're going to vote for you when all of this back and forth stuff is over, you're retired, Errol's retired, and then your name is put up there for the International Boxing Hall of Fame. You think that they're not going to look at your resume and be like, Amir Khan, after Amir Khan lost to multiple people? No. Jeff Horn, who cares? He's a bum. Jose Ramirez got shot in the knee before the fight. Kell Brook had 2 broken eye sockets when he was fighting. Dude, that's exactly what they're going to do to you. Okay, when it's time to vote. And they're going to be like, no. And then there's going to be people like me, all these other people that you think right now are hating on you because they're trying to get you to take a fight that might actually mean something for boxing fans. We're going to be the ones saying, no, he deserves to be in there. He deserves to be in there. Right? It's not going to be the people with the actual votes, okay? Because the resume stinks. But at welterweight, not at 140, not at 135. But at the end of the day, dude, you're going to be judged by 147 because that's the weight class. That's your real weight class, okay? Don't nobody care about what you did at 135, really. That was Ricky Burns. And, dude, you're too big for 135, okay? 140, you could make 140. You were a big 140. You did what you wanted. You were supposed to do at 140. Great. Now you've equaled Alexander Usyk and Jermaine Taylor. Okay, Jermaine Taylor, unified, never defended. Usyk, unified, never defended. You think Jermaine Taylor's a shoe-in for the Hall of Fame? You're nuts. You think Usyk is a shoe-in for the Hall of Fame? Better chance than both of y'all because he got the complexion for the protection. So he might make it, but no, Terence, not with the resume that you have. But then let's look at Errol, and let's see if Errol can get there with the resume that he has and the fight options that he has. He has Danny Garcia. If he wins tonight, he will have Keith Thurman. He will have Sean Porter, and he has the ability to move up and get a fight with Canelo Alvarez. That is him and he beat Kell Brook. That's 4 of the top welterweights that were there during his time. He would have beaten them all. And then he doesn't need you because he can go to 160 and he can go fight Canelo. Or he can go to 154 and he can fight anybody at 154. What are you going to do, bud? Who are you going to fight if those guys aren't with the PBC? If you don't fight Keith Thurman, you don't fight Sean Porter, you don't fight Danny Garcia, and you don't fight Ugas, if you don't fight these guys, nobody's going to – these guys aren't going to say that you are some Hall of Fame fighter. If you don't fight any of these guys, no chance, okay? No chance. You need Errol because none of those other guys want to fight you. Like, they don't even care about you. Keith Thurman don't care about you. Danny Garcia don't care about you. Sean Porter's starting to care about you because he figures, it might be hard to get the WBC shot with Errol because, maybe he needs to make a fight with Keith Thurman, right? So, but anyway, I bet you Sean Porter would take a Keith Thurman fight as fast as he would take a Terence Crawford fight. There's literally nobody other than Errol Spence Jr. at the PBC that is really even talking about fighting you, seriously talking about fighting you. And his tone is changing because of what you're saying. Dude, Errol does not need you. Errol don't need you at all. Errol is on a pay-per-view this weekend. This weekend with a Puerto Rican fighter out of Philadelphia, and the fight more than likely is going to do really well in New York. And a guy in Danny Garcia whose name is just as big and accomplished just as much at 140 and at 140 as Terence did. He fought better competition actually at 140. The only difference is that he didn't get a shot at 2 more belts. Now, how did Terence Crawford get it? He got it with Julius Ndungo because Julius Ndungo picked up 2 more belts. If Danny Garcia had 2 belts and Julius Ndungo had 2 belts, Julius Ndungo's getting knocked out in the first round by Danny Garcia too. But anyway, that's just what I believe. But more than likely, that's what most boxing fans are believing. They're just not giving you credit like that, dude. Not even Top Rank is giving you credit like that. Top Rank just now is saying you're the number 1 pound for pound guy. It just now. And that's by default, okay? Because I promise you they want Monster Inoue up in there. So it's just silly at this point for Terence Crawford to be saying this. Not when there's all kind of people got on planes yesterday to fly in the middle of a pandemic to go see Errol Spence Jr. fight and paying big money for the tickets to do that. Where's your fight that's going to occur like that? If Errol needs you, you know what I'm saying? Errol don't need you for this Danny Garcia pay-per-view. Errol didn't need you for the Sean Porter pay-per-view. Errol didn't need you for the Mikey Garcia pay-per-view. You know what I mean? Errol just needs Errol. Okay, it's obvious. Errol just needs Errol. Errol just needs to win this fight against Danny Garcia, dude. And then he can continue to move on. And the Canelo fight is 10 times bigger than a Terence Crawford fight. So please explain to me how it is that Errol Spence Jr. needs Terence Crawford. It's just he does not. He doesn't. In fact, it is the fans. It's like I am myself personally. I am waiting for Terence Crawford to do something. Give me something that can allow me to push hard on the Errol Spence Jr. team to make that fight. But as is, no. You don't even act like you want the fight. Why would Errol be like, well, yeah, let me go out of my way and not fight Canelo, fight Terence Crawford when Terence Crawford is still with ESPN, when these other fights are easier to make. Yeah, let me make all these fights and so I can earn Terence Crawford's respect enough where he thinks the fight's important for him. Dude, it's just ridiculous, dude, okay? Terence Crawford right now is just he's just the emperor with no clothes, man. You know what I mean? Like, we know you can fight. You know you're the man, dude, but as far as what you can do in the ring. But all of this talk, it's like he's listening to Teofimo Lopez too much, right? Where Teofimo Lopez is saying about Gervonta Davis that Gervonta Davis needs, what does he bring to the table for me? Like, are you silly? Teofimo, Gervonta ain't worried about you. Gervonta, there ain't nobody that will fight you that would not fight Gervonta Davis first. Okay? None of them. You know why? Because they ain't got to worry about the money. Same thing goes for Terence Crawford. Kell Brook would have fought Errol Spence Jr. Again if he had the opportunity before Terence Crawford, because he wouldn't have had to worry about making $1.5 or $2 million. He would have probably walked out of there with $3 or $4 million because it's Errol Spence. But, Kell couldn't have got on a pay-per-view. You get my point. But look, man, at this point, somebody got to tell Terence, man, look, you're the best fighter we believe you're the best fighter in the world. But the ship has sailed on the public opinion thing, okay? You're going to need this win against Errol Spence. If you think that the Hall of Fame is important to you, you're going to have to go get Errol. Because if you don't fight Errol, more than likely it ain't happening. But that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think. And with that, I'm out. Peace.